morning and welcome to another edition of Sports Recap on Hughes TV. I am Ainan Lubem. I am not alone in the studio.
Good morning, Ainan Lubem. I am Daniel Obasi.
Yes, a lot of actions have been taking place in the sporting world, but let's quickly begin from the MPFL, where club owners have come out to make a huge statement. They've agreed to make the 2022-2023 football season an abridged one due to time factor. According to a club owner who did not want to be mentioned, he said the proposal for the abridged league will be forwarded to the interim management of the committee for the league management committee in Nigeria. Now we are going to have an abridged version of a football season. What's your reaction?
The first reaction to this is, when will we get this right? When are we going to ever get it right? A lot is happening, and it's so sad that we are part of this disjointed way of doing things. The MPFL is over 30 years old, even older than the English. I repeat, older than the English Premier League. So look at where the English Premier League has gotten to. Look at where the NPFL is still. Even the Kenyan League that just came up not too long ago. Look at what it has done. Look at the South African League. Look at other league, the Ethiopian League. Yes. So all of these things have already, this league has even started. But yet we are still looking at the fact that when are we going to start? Okay, and now we decided that we want to start. We are looking at an abridged version. I do not know when, but I just hope it gets done soon. The new administration can get this right. But for me, I am not happy with what is going on with the MPFL. And if the new management cannot get it right, I don't think there is good news for our football.
But what can you say is the reason for this abridged version? Because Nigeria is not even playing in the World Cup. I would have said we use the opportunity to prepare, or because our players are going to be out. But and again, most of the players are in the local league. They are not even at the national level. So what is the main reason for the abridged version?
Looking at the, I think where they are looking at is the fact that you do not have, you're already behind schedule.
Yes.
Basically every league in the world has started. Yes. We are yet. We see the English Premier League 10 games already in. Even the South African League, they've started. The Ghanaian League, the Ethiopian League have actually started. So I think that's one. We are already behind schedule. We are behind time. Secondly, I heard something, a report coming was the fact that we're looking at the players that would be going out for trials outside the show. How do you think about this? You're not talking about players who can remain in the league, and we do not even have sponsors. So all of these things are accumulated to find. They decided and said, okay, they've agreed, and they say we want to do an abridged version. I do not know how they are going to do with the group format. I do not know, but it's so sad knowing fully well that we are not moving forward as a nation when it comes to our footballing league.
All right then, and moving away from that particular war now to Robert Kalenda, who is the agent of Super Eagles striker Victor Osimhen, says he wants to stay at Napoli for the long term. Yes, the Nigerian was linked with Manchester United and Arsenal over the summer. Talking about Victor Osimhen, he has been in fine form at Napoli. Do you see him extending his contract at the Patanopi?
For me, Napoli wants this man at all costs. Yes. He would want, it would be good for him to stay. I would love to see Osimhen in the season in the Italian Serie A. Let him continue to grow. But if he eventually leaves after the season, I think it will be a good call for him. Everyone wants him. He's a good striker, and let's see what the future holds for this Nigerian.
Talking about Nigeria professional football clubs, Rivers United and Plateau United have been drawn against Libyan opponents in the first round of the qualifiers for the CAF Confederations Cup. Yes, the NPFL champions Rivers United have been drawn against El Nasser Benghazi of Libya, while Plateau United were paired against another Libyan side, Al-Aqadar. The additional second round of the 2022 CAF Confederation draw saw the 16th team that qualified for the second round of the competition. Do you see Plateau United getting a win over the Libyan counterparts?
I think Plateau United were robbed. I would use the word. They were robbed. A free kick turned to a penalty overnight. No one could raise. CAF is not saying anything. But whichever way they have been relegated to the CAF Confederation Cup, they are a good side.
Yeah,
it's going to be difficult because they are making their debut. They are trying to come into the other competition and all of that. But for Rivers United against Benghazi, they've had it good against this Libya side in recent time. So I think for that, I can easily say it's a good call for Rivers United. But Plateau United and Al Akada, it's going to be difficult. But Plateau United will want to bounce from that loss to experience in the CAF Champions League. Now they've relegated to the CAF Confederation Cup. I think they want to prove a point and say they were not a way, they didn't go out of that league in a very good way.
All right, moving away from the local scene now to the international scene and starting off with basketball. Daniel, can you give us an information in the international scene?
I think it's amazing. The NBA just resumed. We see the new season of the NBA resuming, and of course, we see the champions talking about the Golden State Warriors. Just in the early hours of today, we saw them defeating LeBron James' Los Angeles Lakers by 123 to 103 points. Amazing run of form. But looking at this, Steph Curry, the king of three-pointers, now back into the new season, starting off with a good side with the Golden State Warriors. What are our expectations for them this season?
Well, throughout last season, the Golden State Warriors were very spectacular. Also, the Lakers also proved fierce competitors at some point. True. But for Stephen Curry, he has been very instrumental. Like you said, the three-point king. Now that the season is back, we expect to see him delivering more of those beautiful throws when it comes to basketball. All
right, many more teams for this man. Basketball, as we see everything unfold. And away from basketball now to football, and starting off with actions at Anfield, where Diego Jota has been ruled out of the World Cup for Portugal. A sad one for them. And also in the same vein, we see that man, the French national and Chelsea player, talking about N'Golo Kante, has also been ruled out of the French national team for the World Cup. A sad one for these two players.
Well, talking about France, I'm more saddened about San's situation, because earlier on, one of their key midfielders, talking about Pogba, was already out. Long ago, he was out.
He's back now.
He's back.
He's back to training. He's back to training now.
Well, earlier on, there were speculations he might miss the World Cup, and it's a sad one, although a good one for him to recover. But talking about Kante, he has been very instrumental in the midfield of the France national team, and also for Chelsea, he has been very good. But recently, he was out due to some injury, and it's a sad one that he'll be missing the World Cup after having that injury while he was playing active football. And moving away from that particular story now to other matters on the international scene, they were expecting games to go over the weekend. Also, yesterday in the EPL, we saw some Premier League action.
All right, in the EPL, just like Aynan Luben said, we saw an amazing line of games where we saw Brighton playing out a goalless draw against the struggling Nottingham Forest, while also we saw Crystal Palace coming from a goal down to defeat Wolves at the Selhurst Park by 2-1. While Sevilla, who got a red card, played at a 1-1 draw against Valencia. We also saw Atletico Madrid being held at the Wanda Metropolitano. And today we would be also seeing line of games in the English Premier League, not forgetting the fact that Arsenal game against Manchester City have also been postponed due to the Europa League encounter tomorrow against PSV. But the big one would be Manchester United at the Old Trafford against visiting Antonio Conte's side, Tottenham Hotspur by 8-15. Now, Chelsea up against Brentford also is another big game as well. But let's talk about Manchester United and Tottenham Hotspur.
Well, the two teams have really fared not too nicely, if you ask me. But Tottenham have had a beautiful run this season.
True.
It began when Antonio Conte took over the affairs of the club last season by catapulting them into the Champions League this season. And that's why we have the likes of Manchester United not participating after a very long time. But the game tonight is going to be really dicey. Manchester United on the 5th position. Erik ten Hag's boys will have to give in their best. They are just coming from a goalless draw at the weekend over a Newcastle side.
True.
They played as goalless there, and they really need those points. I think 4th on the table at the moment should be Tottenham.
Third
on the table. Chelsea 4th.
Yes, then, just some point behind Manchester City for Tottenham Hotspur.
So it means that the win for Manchester Manchester United is going to be very, very crucial. As for Antonio Conte, he has already cemented his place among the top 3 in the EPL. I think that's a good position. It's Manchester United that need to get that win by all costs. And talking about their player, Tottenham player Son, he has really had a very wonderful time scoring braces and hat-tricks. Perhaps he may be stopped by David De Gea today.
All right, he may be stopped by David De Gea today at Old Trafford. But do not forget what happened just 2 years ago, still in October on the 4th. We could remember at the same Old Trafford, Tottenham Hotspur inflicted 6 goals against the Manchester United side. It ended 6-1 in favor of Tottenham Hotspur. The question would now be, can they repeat what they did 2 years ago on the same month? It lost a lot for Erik ten Hag, who definitely will want to bring a new flair to the side called Manchester United. But before we go, let's also bring to your notice that Neymar also still on the trial conviction. We just hope he isn't found guilty, because if he does, he might just face 2 years, 2 years in jail. I really do not hope it does for this man, and he might just pay over 10 million pounds in fine. So it's a whole lot for him, and I just hope it doesn't. It doesn't happen for this man, because Brazil need him at the World Cup.
Yes, of course, nothing will happen to Neymar because his government and he.
If he's found guilty, if he is found guilty,
he'll be able to pay fines, and none of.
Okay, so you're saying fine would be better.
That's better. It'll be better. All right, that's the much we can take on Sport Recap. Trust you had a wonderful time. Until we come your way in the next edition of Sport Recap, I am Ayman Luben,
and I am Daniel Obasi.
Thank you for watching.